remember the day my mother called me on the phone to tell me that our stepdad had molested my younger sister. It was a blow to my system. I couldn't believe that he had done this. The man who I looked up to, my hero, my role model. I decided to leave my boyfriend and head back home to help my mother at home. I wanted to be there for my sister, as I knew how it felt to be violated as a child. When I arrived at home, things were very different and too much to bear. So I decided to move in with a friend. I decided to put the pain behind me and focus on a great summer and college year. Things seemed to be moving well, grades were excellent, and I was determined. And then there was my family violence class. During this class, we learned about all forms of family violence and how abuse causes silence. It was then that all my pain came flooding back. The night before my family violence exam, I ended up drinking a bottle of wine alone. I had an overwhelming feeling of guilt because I felt I had abandoned my siblings. I was out enjoying my life and moving on with school. I stood on a chair with a homemade noose around my neck, my life hanging by a thread. I was mustering up the courage to kick the chair and end all of my pain. All of a sudden, I realized I didn't want to leave my family behind with my suffering. I decided I had to fight for my life. I finished college and graduated with a high GPA. I felt proud that I had brought pride to both my parents' eyes. I moved back home and ended up working for a youth treatment home. I began to hear the stories of family violence and child sexual abuse once again. During this time, I also began my healing journey. I involved myself in traditional ceremonies and discovered expressive art. Through this journey, I started to see that I was taking on more than my share of responsibilities for my siblings, and that maybe it was time to move on once again. Except this time, I will move on without guilt. This time, I will move on and live my life and model true self-love. Part of being true to myself is doing what I love. Art is a place where I can heal, be honest, spiritual, depressed, emotional, and thankful without limits. To appreciate the light, you have to acknowledge and love the dark. For me, this was having the courage to look at the pain and to take responsibility for my life.
I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see.